This is Jeremy White, and you are listening to the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast.
This week on the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast, we're skipping that wacky news and we're going for a Chick-Fil-A Elite 8 sauce bracket. And we have the author of In His Shadows, Growing Up with Reggie White. It's Jeremy White. All that and more on this episode of the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. Here we go. Hey, hello, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast, where two guys take on life, liberty, and the pursuit of gravy, and you, the listener, are getting a degree in common sense. We are broadcasting from the Bustin' Knuckle studio right here in beautiful downtown historic Concord, North Carolina. I'll be your host, Biggin, and how about you? We've got a great show lined up for you, as always. But before we begin, let me introduce you to the second half of this flaky biscuit. That's right, I'm talking about the pride of Anderson, South Carolina, 2016's Honorable Mention Father of the Year, the inventor of the redneck egg roll. Give it up on old mic number one. It's Mojo!
What's going on?
Hey, buddy.
We're back after 2 weeks off, and all this political mess has hopefully died down a little bit. Maybe not. I don't know.
It ain't. It's going to keep going.
There'll be something new. Hey, thanks for tuning in once again to the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. You can find us on the Facebooks at Southern Fried Philosophy. You can also go to our Instagram and Twitters at SFP Radio, our YouTube.com/SFP Radio. Also, our Patreon link at Patreon.com/SFP Radio. Don't forget to go to Google Play, iTunes, or Stitcher. Subscribe, give us a like, a share, write a review. That's how we move up in the old algorithms of the podcast world.
That would be handy dandy. We would really appreciate that. And don't forget to check out our Patreon link if you want to, join the family and be part of this thing. Check it out at Patreon.com/SFP Radio.
We're going to also be producing some Patreon subscriber content that we'll do later on, but we're going to get that.
And that's the thing. We've got 77 episodes that are free. A lot of these other...
And this one is too.
And this one is... Well, this is 77. A lot of these others have, they give you 10, but then they make you pay for more. Kind of like a crack dealer.
Subscriber wall. Yeah,
right?
A paywall.
But not us. Oh, no. We just give you the whole kit and caboodle. We don't ask you to pay. We give it to you for free because we like you.
We're about to turn into the Walter White of podcast.
We would hope so.
We'll give you a sample.
So that we can give you the free content, we just ask for some help.
That's right.
$1 here, $1 there. That kind of stuff.
Or buy us a beer when you see us out.
Or that. That doesn't pay the mortgage, though. So my wife is a little bit,
There you go.
Crazy about that.
We actually have a couple guests in our hot seats today.
Oh, yeah. We have Alan, is a friend that we know from church. And then Leon, again, from Watchman Cigars on episode 76. Leon is sitting in studio at the Bad Mother Smokers Smoking Hot Seats. So thanks for joining, guys. Mojo, I'm going to ask you like I ask you every week, how you be darn?
So we all know the past couple of weeks have been just a huge political fiasco. Mike fiasco.
I was trying to turn that down so we don't go there.
And I got into a very heated debate on lines today, and that's what's burning my biscuits.
Oh, boy. Those Facebook arguments.
Oh, my gosh. This is probably one of the most important topics to my heart right now in America. Mm-hmm. Dukes versus Hellmans. I swear.
That's an argument?
Oh, my God. I mean, we went back and forth probably at least for 5 or 6 hours.
I thought that would be hands down, it's complete Dukes.
I was 19 years old before I discovered other brands.
There isn't any other brand.
I didn't
They're just
know that.
copies.
So all these fakers out there who are on the Hellman's train, yeah.
You going down.
We still want you to listen, but you're dead to me. How you been doing?
I'm good, man. I am... in the middle of work Hades, as we call it. Like I'm working 60, 70 hours. It's nuts. But I do get a break for two things. One, taking care of your little one, the 6-year-old.
Thank you for doing that, by the way.
Not a problem. Life will stop to take care of your daughters. Whatever happens, we just drop everything and take care of them. Or if they just want to come spend the night. And then Kentucky sports. You know how much I love Kentucky sports. Basketball.
So Kentucky football was 4-0 going into this weekend?
4-0 going into this weekend. Now we are 5-0.
Wow.
Woo!
When's the last time that happened?
1950, my friend.
Wow. So when do they start playing real teams?
That was the same year Paul Bear Bryant won the championship at the University of Kentucky.
Oh, wow. I didn't know Bear Bryant was there.
Yeah, he was there.
Wow.
So how about it?
That's impressive.
Yeah, we beat last week. We beat South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
We did beat Mississippi State. So we are playing some real teams now.
My team Duke, which we were doing good.
You were doing great.
We got the brakes beat off of us this past weekend. So
Who'd you play?
Unranked team.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's what I thought.
I'm pretty sure that we're not going to be in the rankings anymore now.
You were in the 25.
22.
22.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to, showboat. We were 17. Guess what we're at now? 13.
Wow.
I'm just saying. Now it may be different. We're going down to A&M tonight or this Saturday.
Right.
And we're playing at A&M, so that's going to be a little tough.
That's a tough. Aggies are a tough team.
They are.
So we'll see how that plays out. We're going to introduce our guest just in case he wants to interject any commentary here.
Yeah. So we are going to bypass the wacky news because we've got this Chick-fil-A Elite 8
this is important
bracket
stuff.
thing that we're just going to bypass that stuff. And we have with us in studio, guys, Jeremy White. He is the son of the Hall of Famer, Reggie White. Jeremy, thanks for coming on the show.
Say hi,
I appreciate it. Say hi.
Absolutely. It's wonderful to be here. And actually, I'm a Hellman's guy.
Oh, no.
I mean, stop the show.
No, privilege.
No, sir. Well, it's been nice having Jeremy on the show.
Thanks for listening to this episode.
We hope to not have you back sometime, but I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Might as well be dead to people.
But you grew up in the South, right? You know Dukes. It's not anything new.
I can't. I'm not going to lie. I can't.
Okay.
For some reason, I cannot. I'm just picturing Hellman's. Only Hellman's.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't fit into a good category.
Can he get some redemption points back if he disavows the Miracle Whip?
Yes, but we'll have to have an FBI investigation to make sure that his allegations are not true. And
do I have to go before the Senate committee?
That's right. We also need a notarized letter from the Secretary of State of North Carolina verifying that his words are actually on record here.
That's rough. All right. Well, what about the
college football?
Well, no. Well, about Hellman's or the Miracle Whip.
Oh, sure. I will disavow it. So as long as I can come back on a second time.
Right, yeah. That's fine.
But you're a Miracle Whip guy.
So here's the thing. There's like on a sandwich, maybe Miracle Whip. Anything else is mayonnaise.
Okay.
It's like sometimes I want a little sweet on my sandwich. Just sometimes on certain things.
Okay. Add some sugar on it. No.
Only whip I'm down with is Cool Whip.
Oh, Cool Whip.
Cool Whip.
All right, so do you want to explain kind of what's going on here in front of us? We have got...
Yeah, there was a couple... There's actually, a Southern Living article that came out about Chick-fil-A. Now, I'd like to, off the onset here, I'd like to call out one of our fans from Canada who now lives here. Actually says
some of the
that he does
people
not
on earth.
nice people. He doesn't understand our fascination with Chick-fil-A.
Oh,
so that kind of hurt me to the core.
Yeah, well, it should. It really should. Chick-fil-A, they came out. There was an article saying what is the most popular sauces in the region. The sauce for the South was barbecue. Which you would think, but what's weird is from Florida to Maine, the Polynesian sauce made number one. It was like the number one thing.
We do have a lot of Polynesians that have migrated here.
And they live in Florida and Maine? What's wrong with you? And then in the Midwest, it was barbecue sauce. And then the West Coast was the garlic and herb ranch. What you would think.
Yeah, I'm surprised we wouldn't like something with avocado. Like the avocado.
The avocado dressing thing.
Vegan.
Yeah, those weirdos. So we're going to have a bracket. Chick-fil-A officially has 7 sauces.
Right.
And you guys can begin to start opening up your sauce packets. The Chick-fil-A sauce, it's labeled as our classic dipping sauce with notes of honey mustard and smoky tang. Smoky tang. Then we've got the Polynesian sauce, a delicious sweet and sour sauce with a strong tangy flavor. The honey mustard sauce, a savory sauce with robust flavor of mustard and spices combined with the sweetness of honey. Boy, this sounds delicious, doesn't it? The garlic and herb sauce is a creamy buttermilk ranch with savory garlic, onion, and herb flavors.
Okay, maybe it's the herb that made the West Coast.
It is legal there.
Hey.
The zesty buffalo sauce, a flavorful hot sauce with smooth, bold flavors. The barbecue sauce is our classic barbecue sauce, seasoned with spices, onion, and garlic with a rich, bold flavor. And I didn't even know this was on the menu, so this may be new for folks. A sriracha sauce, a sweet and tangy sauce made with chili peppers for a spicy twist.
I don't know the definition of tang anymore.
I've lost all tang ability. Yeah. So the noises that you're hearing in the background is we're opening up we each have 8 different sauces. By the way, when I went through the drive-thru, they were not happy with me.
No, that's not true. They probably said my pleasure.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
They were saying my pleasure with gritted teeth, with gnashings of teeth.
I tell you what, you got to give it up Chick-fil-A. They're the only fast food restaurant that you can go to and be like, I want 12 sauces. I want a sauce for each nugget. Okay. No problem.
Yeah, I asked them if there were additional costs for the sauces, and they just said no, it's fine.
But you go to any other fast food chain, they're going
like 25 cents a pop.
Right.
They're going to nickel and dime you.
Okay.
Can I have some extra ketchup packets? Really? Yeah. Just.
I mean, two's not good enough for a large fry. What's wrong with you people? All right. So as you're looking at these, folks, I need to ask. Let's go ahead and write these down just so that we have them all ready to go. So the CFA sauce. Now, that's been the number one driver for most people. Where do you think that's going to... Is on the scale of 1 to 8?
That's definitely a 1.
Is that...
Yeah.
Okay.
Because in my mind, Chick-fil-A, anything you order... I've said this before, anything you order at Chick-fil-A is just a vehicle to put the Chick-fil-A sauce on to ride to your mouth.
You don't even care about the nugget. It's just a proper vehicle delivery device to get to your mouth from the packet. Okay.
It almost feels like when you go there, they're like, what kind of sauce would you like? Would you like barbecue, honey mustard, ranch, or Chick-fil-A sauce?
Right.
Namesake, please.
Yeah.
I never say, I'll just pass the name brand sauce up.
I didn't know about sweet and spicy sriracha.
Okay.
Sriracha. You didn't bring any nuggets. I can't eat these.
No, look. But here's the surprise, Mojo. I've got nuggets.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm going to kiss you in the
Let me
mouth.
tell you how much my life is made right now.
There we go.
No, seriously. I was like,
Surprise! There's nuggets.
oh, I'm so excited.
Now you're
I
happy.
can do a proper...
Not
now
even
we're
happy.
good.
Happy's not the word.
All right. So I'm going to make... You guys will eat this food, and then I'll create the bracket as we kind of get ready for this.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So we're back.
Sriracha.
So you're making combos
sauce.
here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, so here we go. We've got the bracket. So for a 1 seed coming out of the West Division, we have Chick-fil-A versus the Buffalo sauce.
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to go with the CFA.
I want to do a upset Cinderella story for Buffalo sauce, but it can't.
It's not going to compare.
No. We are not... oh, gosh. Did I forget the name of that basketball team? It was just in March. Sister Jean's not going to help this.
Oh, who was that? What was that basketball team?
It was Villanova, was it?
It was Chicago...
Oh, yeah.
third.
IUPUI, some weird thing like that. Yeah. All right. So Chick-fil-A is beat the 8 seed Buffalo sauce. Coming out of the East Division, we've got Polynesian sauce versus barbecue.
Polynesian.
So you say Polynesian, Jeremy. He's going in for another score.
It's just
so
you got to check.
You got to check it. I mean, the refs are at the TV watching to see what call to make.
This is tough.
Ooh.
Because barbecue is, when I dip my finger into the barbecue, it's just barbecue, but dipping the actual nugget.
Yeah. It brings it alive.
It really does. And I'm not a barbecue guy. I'm going to have to go barbecue on this. I think we need a tiebreaker.
All right. So Polynesian over the barbecue. I'm going to go to the crowd. The Bad Mother Smokers Smoking Hot Seats.
Oh, that was delicious.
Barbecue or Polynesian?
Do you have any more hiding over there?
Polynesian. Oh, no.
Oh, my goodness.
We got Leon saying barbecue. Alan is saying...
You're actually the judge here.
I can't go down with the poly. I've got to go barbecue. Barbecue for the upset.
For the upset.
That's reasonable.
At least it wasn't a tie.
That knocked out the entire Florida to Maine listenership that we've got.
Fix it, NFL. No ties.
All right, coming out of the South, honey mustard versus ranch.
Garlic ranch.
I have to go ranch also.
Ranch?
Leon shaking his head. Ranch. Alan, no.
Sorry, honey mustard.
All right, Ranch has got it. I was going to pick the honey mustard, but Ranch has upset the honey mustard. And in the North Division, we have got ketchup and the sriracha sauce. We're going to obviously go with sriracha sauce. All right, so CFA, Chick-fil-A sauce against the sriracha sauce. Where are we going?
I really want to pull for the sriracha, but I got to do Chick-fil-A.
I do too, but yeah, it's not. It's the Chick-fil-A.
Because Chick-fil-A sauce goes good on ice cream, too. I haven't tried that, but I'm assuming it would.
You're just
It's
assuming.
got to. If it's delicious, it's delicious. That's right. It doesn't matter.
All right.
We should get Chris at Red Hill to make a Chick-fil-A sauce beer.
Oh, that would be fantastic. All right, barbecue sauce over the garlic herb ranch.
I'm not a beer drinker, and I would try that so much. Like, Jeremy, didn't you just lose 30 pounds? How'd you gain back 60? Let me tell you a story about Chick-fil-A beer.
Truett S. Kathy would be rolling in his grave.
Yeah, no doubt.
Serve with a smile.
All right, so the South Division. Okay, so we've got ranch versus barbecue. Where are we going? Ranch versus barbecue.
I'm about to go barbecue.
I know what everybody wants me to say. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I wasn't on the barbecue train at first, but I guess I'm on the barbecue train now.
Over the ranch?
Yeah.
See, I'm a classic guy. Gotta go ranch. It's gotta.
Let's go to the gallery. Barbecue ranch. Here we go again. Golly. I'm going to have to pull this one out again. Barbecue.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Sister Jean is strong with this one.
Guys, we're down to the two. This is the championship.
All right, which is
Chick-fil-A sauce or barbecue sauce?
it's Chick-fil-A, hands down.
Oh, Alan from the gallery is saying barbecue.
Look,
it's not a done deal.
I'm telling you.
Jeremy?
When I said it, when I put my finger in the barbecue, it didn't taste good. But with the actual chicken, it's a different kind of barbecue sauce. I'm going to have to go barbecue.
Uh-oh. 2-1. Leon? Leon's going Chick-fil-A. It's down to me.
He's going to launch. He's going to hit.
Right?
Yeah.
Cinderella story going to be complete.
It is not. It is going down. It is going down with the Chick-fil-A sauce.
I'll start to sweat, actually.
Yeah. Well, that's what we do.
Now, we could get Chris to make a Chick-fil-A beer, Chick-fil-A sauce beer, and call it My Pleasure. I think that would go over good.
You know what? Where do I invest?
Actually, hold on. I'm sure Leon can make a custom crafted Chick-fil-A sauce
we get
cigar.
A cigar.
Wow.
A CFA sauce cigar. Leon saying it's happening. It's happening.
Also, that'd probably be on my keto diet. Less calories. I could smoke a cigar and just eat the nugget.
Oh, do you eat the nugget with the cigar? That's
the whole purpose.
Can we bake the nugget into the cigar and then smoke that? Guys,
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
This podcast is derailed. By the way,
Let's make a Chick-fil-A nugget bong.
See, I don't know. I think we've absolutely gone in the direction we are supposed to.
The Lord has spoken.
Absolutely.
And we are here.
Too bad there's not going to be any Reggie memes like the Elon Musk meme going around. Him and a Chick-fil-A nugget.
Him and a nugget.
What?
We can make it happen, man. We can make that happen.
Hey, you know, I used to not want to be a meme and be all over the internet.
There you go.
I tell you what, if that's what it took, how did you make your first million?
Let me show you.
Double dipping. Dipping in the Chick-fil-A.
Closed on Sundays.
You or just the whole meme? Oh, goodness.
That would be funny if people didn't post memes on Sunday.
Well, there goes football season. You can't post any memes.
Yeah, that's right.
There's that. Speaking of football, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we will be interviewing Jeremy White, the author of In His Shadows, Growing Up with Reggie White. You're listening to the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. Hey guys, it's me, Bigging. Summer is made for grilling and chilling, and you too can be the baddest mother smoker on the block using our favorite award-winning smoking sauce. Bad Mother Smokers is perfect match for that favorite meat, veggies, or even that secret ingredient in a pot of chili. Check out badmothersmokers.com to place your order, and if you want to be a barbecue pitmaster like Mojo, enter the promo code MOJO for 10% off your order. Visit badmothersmokers.com or the sponsor section of our website at southernfriedphilosophy.com. Introduce our guest and want to go from there. So there you go. You even get the music.
I tell you what, this is the first time I've ever had this intro music. I've thought about it. When I was growing up, I'm like, oh, I decided not to play football. This will never be me. I'll never be able to relate to that robot.
Why do they do those robots?
That robot.
It's like, wait a second. After all the advancements in technology, and it's clearly one of the, they're still using the same graphic from '95.
It's like the Rock'em Sock'em robot.
And the thing is, like when he's getting pumped up and he's like moving his arms, and moving his feet up and down, like getting ready for warm ups, and you're like, why do I enjoy that? Why is that oddly pleasurable to watch? I don't. And then here's the football. It's a steel football. It's really heavy, but it's not for me because I'm Megatron's brother. I don't understand.
Great breakdown. That's probably the best analysis of that stupid commercial or
the intro.
But could you imagine the test groups that were like, I don't like that robot doing that.
What was it up against? Like dancing unicorn football players?
Right.
We're gonna go with masculine robots.
And then you never hear the backstory, right? You never how you have the Madden players and they're like, this guy, he's the one who puts all the little dots on and they do the 3D, and he's the one who gets tackled like all the time. Where's the backstory? Right. Where's the backstory for this guy? Like, who's the guy who did this? I want to know. Is he getting residuals or was it a one-time payment? Because if he's not getting residuals, he needs a new agent.
Yeah, because they're going to use that every year. They haven't stopped. It had to have been a one-time payment. They're like, well, we're just not going to pay anymore for that.
That's right. That's right.
And you know it had to be a brother. Because he was like, he did the whole finger movement, and again with the hands just out in the front, like dropping the mic.
What if it wasn't? What if it was some white guy named Brett?
far from Mississippi,
who's a vegan and does CrossFit
and likes garlic herb ranch Chick-Fil-A sauce. This is number one. You know what, Brett? I'm gonna need you to call Pixar because there's some work for you. They're making a Toy Story 4.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear about that?
I did not hear that.
And I heard they could barely get through like the last scene. It's supposed to be sad. Why do you keep doing this?
Why does every Disney movie start out with tragedy or ends with heartbreak? I don't know.
With single parents. Yeah. Where they just passed away, except the Incredibles. And then their life is just shambles because they're a real family.
Because they're all liars. They lie to their kids.
I love being a student.
That's what I'm trying to tell my daughter. I'm trying to be the Incredibles. We lie to you all the time. So. Yeah, by the way, our guest is Jeremy White.
There you go.
Maybe the longest introduction we've had.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway, Jeremy White is the son of the late, great Reggie White. I'm sure we'll get into that in a few, but Jeremy wrote a book called In His Shadow, Growing Up with Reggie White, and he also has a kid's book, which is probably more my grade level, Estelle and Gustoff, and I'm anxious to actually get home and read that with my 6-year-old. I think she'll probably enjoy that. So welcome to the show, Jeremy. I
appreciate you guys
plug how people can reach out to you, social media, follow you.
Yeah, so let's see. So first and foremost, thanks for having me, guys. This is going to be a treat. You told me to talk as long as I want to. We might be here till tomorrow morning.
That's okay.
Well, Chick-fil-A will probably deliver through Uber Eats.
There you go. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm going to do it, and I'm going to ask the Uber Eats driver, can you make sure to pick up one sauce for every nugget, please? I will tip you an extra $2.50.
That's right.
Something.
Cash.
I don't know right. Get right now. And I'll save, which kind of quarter do you want? You want the one with Massachusetts on the back? Or you want the Hawaii one? I've got them all. I'm going to go in. My mother's been saving them because she thinks they're going to be worth more than 25 cents. Like the $2 bills, and everybody thinks they're going to be worth more than $2. These are going to be worth $20 one day. Like, remember when the new $20 bills came out?
Oh, yeah.
And everyone was hoarding them?
Oh, yeah.
People were like, I got that new 20. I'm like, it's worth the same as the old. You want to trade? No? Like, I'll give you all my new 20s for your old ones. Let's go do that.
Imagine that kid walking into that jewelry appraisal, coin appraisal shop. You know, my grandpa just left me this whole collection of state quarters.
Yeah.
Mister, how much can you get? Well, how many are there? 50.
50.
Well, that's $25, son. What?
Right.
Or that makes it probably $12.50. Actually, whatever. I can't.
I teach kindergarten.
Math is hard.
Yeah.
But anyway, you know, the kid has a look on his face like, sir, I thought this was worth way more. My grandfather saved these. I want to go to college.
Yeah, this isn't Dear John, where he has that one coin collection that's worth all that money.
That's right.
And I just
no doubt.
Oh, she did him so wrong. Okay.
So
social media. So right now I'm actually I'm on YouTube. This is not for everybody, but I'm starting a pre-K program at kindergarten readiness. So I'm on we're Lift Tutoring, LIFT tutoring on YouTube, and we don't have a URL yet because we only have 87 subscribers. Once we get to that magic 100 number, we'll have a / Lift Tutoring. Cool. So if you type in Jeremy White Lift Tutoring, it's an orange bird. It comes up. So if you're interested in helping your kids develop their foundation for education and reading and moving forward, there's some videos you might like to check out. On Twitter, I'm _ Mr. White 1. MR, not MISTER, but _ Mr. White 1.
There's only one Mr., and that was Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, right. I looked for Mr. White, and he's a DJ.
Oh, really?
Like this guy who has this like a Blue Man Group, except he has his face is white, and he's a DJ, and he has like thousands of followers. I was like, oh,
maybe we should do something like that, like a DJ techno pre-K learning thing.
That would,
dress up as a robot.
That does the intro.
It does the intro
for the Fox highlights.
I like that.
I get James Brown on the phone, but he switched to CBS. Good for you, James.
JB.
Terry, Howie, and Jimmy. That's not the same anymore. And then they replaced him with. Anyway, so it's so obvious what you did. He has the same build. He's black. I understand. I get it. And he's not as likable. I love the guy, but he's like, here I am. I'm not JB, but you're not going to know the difference. Roll that highlight. Okay. Oh boy. So _ Mr. White 1 on Twitter. I have a total of 615 followers. So if you'd like to be 616, let me know. We do different stuff. And other social media. Instagram _ Mr. White 1. I'm on Instagram. I have like 500 something followers. I feel really important.
You are. You are.
It's just we do what we can. I got a lot of people who follow me because I've just been working out this summer. I worked out for 100 days this summer.
Oh, wow.
Like I've been retweeting this guy who's like, oh God, he's probably like 560 pounds, and he's been tracking his weight loss, and like people are trying to give him crap, like, oh, I haven't seen you lose any weight. I'm like, it's 109 days. First of all, the guy's 545 pounds. Why are you? He has 18,000 followers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Boy.
He just So
I bet he's lost some weight.
He's got to, and he's doing strength training and stuff. And anyway, but yeah, that's me on social media. If you look on Amazon, Estelle and Gustoff. Gustoff is spelled Gustoff because at the ending was before you turn your brain off. Remember the story of Estelle and Gustoff.
You don't want to be accused of being a Russian spy or
I looked up. I was like. That's from 2011. Who would think? Right?
I didn't want like Russian collusion. In the children's book industry,
had it been that, I mean, I already would have made my first billion smoking my Chick-Fil-A blunt. It just would have been there. So, Estelle and Gustoff on Amazon. And actually, I would prefer if you're interested in getting in his shadow in my autobiography. Just actually just email Estelle and Gustoff at gmail.com and, give me your address. I'll give you a payment, because the ones on Amazon right now, I did a self-publishing and the publishing company went defunct. So if you get it on Amazon right now, it's usually people who are they're selling them from libraries. I actually went ahead. They were selling for like 1 cent on Amazon. And I was like, I'm buying these back. I'm going to sell them for what I want to sell them for. Yeah. And I found one that I had signed, and I felt some kind of way.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I was like, what? And then one was actually dedicated to this guy's son. He's like, I hope you can get closer to God. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, and he sold it on Amazon to the guy who wrote it. So,
the bad news is you bought it for a penny.
Yes, yes. $3.99 shipping and handling did not qualify for Amazon Prime. Come on, Amazon.
It's my book.
$105 billion, and I can't buy my own book without shipping it to myself for $3.99.
That's right.
And we'll make sure that we put all the links on our site. Yep. So you look under show notes, and then we'll get that updated and make sure you can go there and get that stuff there. So let's talk about a little bit about the book. What was your inspiration of writing this, and why did you write the book?
So I'll have to take you guys a little further back. So when I was younger,
going back,
way back. What was that? Space Jam? It was a Kurt Franklin album, I think. It's the only album I listened to for years. One of my friends was like, "Dude, we need you to do better." I was like, "It's not like my dad will let me listen to T.I." Okay, so we're going all the way back. And I remember my father wanted to. He was in talks with who. Oh, that guy who got in trouble for that huge scandal.
Oh, wow.
Which one? Yeah.
Jim Baker.
Oh.
Okay. Jim Baker. We're going way back. Yeah. Okay. So originally.
PTL.
Yeah. Originally, Jim Baker, and maybe it might have been some of what was going on with Billy Graham and stuff, but he was like all in that same circle, right? And they were talking about making a Christian amusement park. And they were asking my dad for like, hey, would you be down with, funding something like this and helping out? And I remember we even had like the actual like model of what it would look like and all this stuff. Regardless, I'm about 6 years old. So I knew my life's mission. I wanted to be a ticket taker. So I was like, Dad, what you want? Jeremy, what you want to do? I want to be a ticket taker. And just take people's tickets, tell them to have a great time.
Yeah.
There's something so good about that. But life got older, and I was like, I don't think I can make $5 an hour. There's $150 a month would have to qualify me for a car. I'm watching those car commercials when I'm younger. They're like, for only $100 down. I was like, $100? I only get $7 a week for allowance. How am I going to make that work? And I got to spend $50 of it on the new video game that's coming out.
Yeah.
Because I used to save my money. So anyway, I wanted to be a veterinarian first. And then I realized I wasn't good at biology. So I scrapped that plan. I got to 10th grade, and they were like, biology, cells, DNA, RNA, mitochondria. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I wanted to write. So I started writing, used to write a lot of poetry, used to keep journals and all sorts of stuff. So I've always had a love for writing. I went to Elon and got my my bachelor's in journalism. So my first semester back from Elon in 2004, it was in December, and I'm upstairs in our house, in our library where the computer is, and I was like, Mom, come here. I was like, Mom, I am so tired of people asking me what it's like to be Reggie White's son. I got to tell the same story over and over and over again. I got to go through what's it like being Reggie White's son? Do you get everything you want? No, you don't.
You get $7 a week.
Right. And I was big balling because I was like, if I save this by the end of the year, I will have
bankroll
whatever 7 times 52 is, on top
clearly
of
still not good at math. So
right. On top of it's okay, I teach your children. Don't worry, I actually
he doesn't count over 10 on these videos.
That's right. That's correct. 10. Hold on. Side story. I was teaching a girl a couple of years ago. Love her to death. And but in North Carolina, you have to be able to count to 100 without making a mistake, like verbally, by the end of kindergarten. Okay. The goal is 30 by the end of first quarter. Okay. A lot of parents are like, my child can do that. I'm like, no, your child can't, because I counted with them.
Little Sally doesn't. It throws in the alphabet.
14.
Were you there? Was it your daughter? Was it somebody you know?
No, one of the kids in her class was like 13, 17, Z.
That's exactly what happened.
Little Debbie Kate.
That's exactly what happened. I loved
Chick-Fil-A
it.
sauce.
I said, Mia, I'm going to count together. She, okay, Mr. White. She already had like a lisp and something else was up. Okay, Mr. White. I was like, all right, great. All right, start counting. All right. 1, 2, and 47. J, X, 99, 100. And then she looked at me with just this innocent smile. And I looked at her, and I'm like,
Passed.
this is why you teach. And you want to laugh so hard, but you can't. Because you don't want to ruin this baby's confidence. Sweetheart, you did exactly what I wanted you to do. We're going to work on it again tomorrow. Okay, can I go help clean up the class? You do whatever you need to do.
But here's the thing, though. She could have been writing like a bank routing number, and you're like, yeah, she just messed this up. I mean, we could have found the Ark of the Covenant or something.
Don't you know I held that girl back? I should have asked her if that was a bank robbery. Poor baby. She's probably going to get older and be like, remember that time you told me I could count to 100, but you were lying? Yeah. 100 mils.
She's like,
smoke the Chick-Fil-A blunt.
She's like diving in gold like Scrooge McDuck.
That's right. By the way, the entire time that was his bank account, and he didn't even recognize it. I saw your checkbook.
There you go.
I've seen you compounded interest of $7 a week for 25 years. Hey.
And then there, like, I don't need to go to any business school. I just need to be Elon Musk. Speaking of Scrooge McDuck, he should die every time he dives.
I know.
That doesn't make any sense. No. DuckTales. Woo, dead. It's like, that's right. Oh, but so even Paper Money would do that. Okay, I watched too much YouTube film theories. That was a whole. They broke that whole thing down. They're like, here's scientifically why that won't work.
Wait. So there's a video on how a talking duck doesn't work.
Okay, let me introduce you. I'm going to do a plug, and he's probably never going to give me credit. There's this guy named Matt Pat on YouTube that has 10 million followers on each channel. He does game theory and film theory, and he breaks down the science and the math behind all of these different things. So why Thanos actually couldn't snap, if Venom was actually a symbiote. Like Assassin's Creed. You guys played Assassin's Creed?
I have, yeah.
What's the actual gravity on Assassin's Creed? Could he have dived off and landed into a hay barrel and actually survived? They ended up finding out that the gravity in Assassin's Creed is similar to the gravity on Jupiter. Why I would need to know these things, I don't know. But that show
Jeopardy.
And some wine is a night.
I can get behind that. I'm with you. But the fact that there's some scientific proof that there's no talking ducks.
So there will probably never be a live-action DuckTales, is what they're saying.
Well, Howard the Duck. I'll remember that.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, stick to the end credit scene, Howard. That's it. That's all we need. What are you looking at?
We're just trucking through this interview, by the way.
Okay, so let's see. You guys asked me about writing the book. Yes. Okay, so it was a week. I came home. I said, I'm tired of everybody asking me. I'm telling the same story over and over again. I'm just going to put it on paper. What do you think? I'm going to write it because I type 90 words a minute. I love typing and I love talking. So just put them together and you have writing, so I just do that.
Page number 1, 2, 47, GX.
That explains the numbring on this book.
It's a codex.
It's like Da Vinci Code.
National Treasure has nothing on me. I need to go back and talk to that girl. Maybe I can. Oh my goodness. So I said, "What do you think is a good idea?" Yeah, sure. So I started writing the first chapter. I started writing from my earliest, very, very earliest memory, which was not really a memory because I had asked my mother and father where they met and what their first date was. And first date was at a Bojangles.
How about it?
Yes. First date was at a Bojangles, and it was after my father had continued to tell my mother how many girlfriends he had because he actually wanted her, and he had no girlfriends.
They tried to play that game.
Yeah. I wish he would
never worked.
He passed on the same level of game to his son because I'm the kind of person that'll go up to a girl and I'll be like, so what do you want to do tonight? I'm like, cuddle? They're like, what? I'm like, I just need some affection. What do you want from him? 6'2", but weirdly, oddly enough, those are not two good words. It was a week later, my dad passed. So I went and I looked at my mom and I was like, I got to get this book done, huh? And she's like, yeah. So I started just writing it. And then that summer, I did an internship for EA Sports.
It's in the game.
It was terrible. It wasn't terrible because they're a terrible company, even though they are, and I don't mind saying that. But it just wasn't for me. It was a good learning experience. I went and I learned a lot about not motivation, but like taking initiative. I got down there and I expected they were going to give me work for paying me $13 an hour. They would direct me. I was 19 years old. They would direct me, hey, we want you to do this, 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 and this. I would do what they asked, and I got it done so fast, and I'm sitting there like, well, I mean, what do I do now?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm barely cracking 40 hours a week here because I'm not understanding how this works, you know. So,
That's the
anyway,
reason why you got to poop on company time,
right? Or bring the Frosted Flakes that they have in the break room to your computer so you can look like you're working. Oh, I'm working, eating Frosted Flakes. Oh, they're great. So, I started working on it that summer, and then I didn't know when I was going to have it published, but when it got announced that he was going to be in the Hall of Fame in 2006, I ramped it up. So the easiest part about that book was just getting all my thoughts on paper. One, it was extremely therapeutic, so therapeutic because it reminded me of all the good times that we had. And, you know, I always tell people, because I've moved around enough in my life. I've lived in 5 states. We moved every 6 months. During the off season, we would move back to Maryville, right outside of Knoxville, Alcoa County. And we would live there for 6 months during off season while he, you know, trained, and we had like 36 acres. And the plan was he wanted everybody close to him. And he was always like that. So he was always having these grandiose ideas of having a compound. You know, just I'm gonna build my mother's house here. I'm gonna build my wife's parents' house here. We're gonna have, you know, Jeremy and the kids are gonna move back. Like, he just had this idea, and it never actualized. But we were in Tennessee until I was about 11. But we weren't in Tennessee for 11 years. We were moved to Jersey. We were right outside of Philly, so we were in Washington Township in Jersey. And about 20 minutes away from the stadium, we had to cross the bridge every time we went into Philly. So we just moved every 6 months. My mother found the private schools that had a Becca Books. So Becca Books was set up. It's a Christian curriculum, but it was set up on days. So it was real easy. I would move, be off for a couple days, and then I'd get to the new school, and they'd be on like day 102. And I just got done doing day 104, you know, up north. And the great thing about it was I didn't realize this until I moved here and started school and went to the same school the whole year. In the South, they start school earlier, and then they get out earlier. In the North, they start school later and then get out later. Well, since I started school in the North, I would start in September, and then I would get out May 31st in Tennessee. I had a full 3 months. So I used to think summer vacation was 3 months. Remember, we moved down here, and I went to school in 10th grade, and I was here the whole time. And I was like, when does school start? They're like, August 6th. I was like, August? You know, when it got that far, my dad didn't even let me say shut up to my sister when I was 17. Shut up. We don't say shut up in this house. I'm 17. What are we doing? But so that's how it came about to do that. And crunch time came around in 2006, a couple months before he got inducted. My creative writing teacher and my newspaper teacher was Amy Hallman. She wanted to be called, oh my goodness, Amy. I think she wanted to be called by her middle name. I'm sorry, Amy. But Miss Hallman is how I remember her. And she edited the book for me. And it was great because originally we were in talks with somebody at ESPN, and one of the ladies at ESPN had recommended that we make it a football book. And that Jeremy Schaap edited it, and we push it like that. So happy that fell through because she knew me because I had been in high school and I went through it, and she was with me for 2 years. She knew my voice. She knew my writing style. 85% of that book is me. You know, you're going to read it, and like now that because I've had a lot of people tell me this, after they've talked to me, they're like, I can hear you in this backwards and forwards, you know. And you know, I've read some of the Amazon reviews, and they're like, oh, it's kind of written from a young man's perspective. I was 19, bro. Like, what do you expect me to do? I'm just writing like I talk. That's it. But you know, you get older and you realize you're like, there's a bunch of different writing styles, but everybody gets pigeonholed. It's got to be, you know, whatever it is. Grisham, John Grisham, or Stephen King. That dude writes for 8 hours a day. You guys know that? 8 hours a day. Got a friend of mine who lives near him.
No wonder he writes psychotic books.
Dude, yeah, that's all I would do.
He
go
takes
crazy.
walks and reads. There's a guy I know in Florida who's neighbors with him, and he said, I've seen Stephen King walking down the street reading a book.
There's no Netflix and chill with him.
No, I don't think I would want to Netflix and chill with Stephen King.
Just put on a romantic movie now. What do you want to watch? Friday the 13th?
I heard that new Halloween movie's coming out. You want to watch some Slender Man? It's the corniest movie ever, and I was still scared. Anyway, so that's how it came to get started, and I wrote it out. And the biggest worry I had through the whole book was that I wasn't going to be able to make a book. Like I was typing it out, and I'm looking at Microsoft Word. I'm like,
that doesn't fill up a whole page.
Yeah, I was like, how does it? You write you write papers in college.
Yeah.
And they're like, we need you to write 10 pages. 10 pages.
Font size 22.
Right. That's how we got started.
Wow. So now you get to go tell people about you writing the book instead of like having to ask how it was growing up.
I had a sociology professor who apparently he wanted like a 1 to 2 page essay on who we were, and I looked at my buddy and I was like, should I just give him my book? should I just hand it to him? And I was like, so I don't know why it never happened, but I was so looking forward to it. I need you. Hold on.
Yeah.
Here you go. That's
Done.
me.
I went through most of my master's using the same book report from Leonard Sweet, Aqua Church. I used that almost the entire way through, the same one. And I had the same teachers, so it was great.
Is there anything from your, your eyes at the young age of writing this book into now where you'd maybe have shaped something differently in this book?
Or
different perspective?
Personal stuff, but hey, it's... So when you go through this book, there's going to be I'll just point it out and throw it out there. So when he was going through a lot of spiritual changes, not spiritual changes, he was going through spiritual growth. It used to get me, and it came out in the book, it used to get me angry because the more he learned, the more he was, one, making it harder for me to find a wife. Because it used to just be, oh, he's an ordained Baptist minister. We're not Baptist, and we're non-denominational. We're Christian. Hey, that has lots of different definitions, right? It's like, oh, you can meet a Christian woman, good Christian woman, or Christian. It just there's so many different definitions. But where he was taking us, I was like, you realize no one's going to understand. I'm not going to be able to. I'm not going to be able to have normal conversations anymore. And when I say normal conversations, it's, hey, Noah's Ark, Abraham, not Habakkuk. Nobody gets into Habakkuk. I read Habakkuk. Remember Ruth, and all the stories, right? The stories you just grow up on if you've been in the church at all, and all the Bible stories, and Adventures in Odyssey, and Veggie Tales, all the feel-good stuff, right? The Veggie Tales. Where's Slushy? Okay. So, all that, you're making it more difficult because now I actually understand the deeper meaning, because he'd study for 8 hours a day. He'd study for 8 hours a day and take a break and go eat lunch and come back down. And every day it was something. Hey, did you know this? Hey, did you know this? Hey, did you know this? If he could have, he probably would have taken one of his codexes and walked down the street and been like, and then probably would have called me and said, Jeremy, trivia question. What do you think the armor of God is? Dad? Oh, man. Okay. So you probably want me to say, but I know, But looking back on it now, like I'm reading it, like I've always been a man of conviction. And that's why, I've never lied to my parents. They used to ask me, did you do this? I would tell them myself all sorts of stuff. I was the sibling who never got away with anything. I think there's been something on my life that if I did decide to smoke that Chick-Fil-A blunt, the cops would bust through here and be like, are you Jeremy White smoking that Chick-Fil-A blunt? No. First time I smoked the blunt, I get caught and pulled over and then go in jail for 10 years. That's been my life.
That's how my dad raised me too. Like if one mess up, you're out.
And you're out. But the thing is, though, it's been true. Like, okay, real quick story.
Okay. Just behind the scenes.
Just behind the scenes, right. I don't think I've never told the story on radio. Not a bad story, but this is just the epitome of hyperbole.
This is breaking news.
Yeah, right. I stole that from Brian Regan, epitome of hyperbole. Anyway, so I had the license where you couldn't drive after 9, right? That probationary license. But there was a teen club across town, and I want to go dancing. I want to go out. So we go, me and my friend go, and then we're on our way back home. It's probably 12 o'clock at night, and there's a checkpoint.
Uh-oh.
I haven't been drinking, but there's a checkpoint, and my license says 9 o'clock. I start freaking out like I had smoked a blunt, like I was piss drunk, and like I had
you're carrying
an unmentionable person in my back seat that I was paying for something. Like all of that. And I'm like hyperventilating. Meanwhile, my friend is on the phone with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend's cussing me out because she thinks we're together. I'm like, no, we're not. Da, da, da. Like I got to deal with this cop thing real quick. And the guy blows me over. He's like, how you doing tonight? I'm like, fine. You have a great night. I was like, never drove after 9 again. Mm-hmm. Like this stuff happened. But as far as perspective, there was a lot of things I held strong convictions on that life has just shown me, hey, you can have those strong convictions, but I'm going to need you not to use any sort of regret as a guilt trip. Like, don't take your regret or don't take your learning experiences as guilt trips, because I'll beat myself up for the smallest things that other people be like, so, don't worry about it. I'm like, no, you don't understand. This is me. I can't, not that I was trying to prove anything to anybody, but just the amount of pressure I put on myself, because it was, I'm the only son, I'm the oldest one, and he constantly said, you're representing me. If you go out and there were parties I did not go to in high school. My buddy was like, why don't you go to this party? I was like, let there be some alcohol at that party. What's going to happen in the front page the next day? Reggie White's son was at a party with alcohol. Probably wouldn't have happened, but it's just things that I thought about, or even like I remember when I got a car, I knew I wanted not a 2-seater. There's a story behind that, but I wanted to be able to take friends home, like if they were DD, and I was like, and I will never get pulled over for DD, because it will be Reggie White's son at Elon University got pulled over for drunk driving, and I hate to say it
right
like,
there though. Yeah. Imagine how much that's changed in the last 20 years or 15 years, where kids of celebrities, if they get caught doing that, their social media profiles explode. You know what I'm saying? I mean, all of a sudden they go from 500,000 followers to 5 million just because of something like that.
And the thing is, I had part of me regretted not playing sports and using my name and possibly having any sort of athletic ability to be able to do that, because I knew how to act. And I would have been able to break through, and they'd have been like, well, this guy, wow, look what he's doing. Like, you look at who was that, LaMelo Ball, who got in a fight? Why are you doing that? You're a ball. You can do. You realize what's going to be afforded to you because you're a ball. You might not even be that good, but your dad is backing you up and building your brand. Don't mess it up. Because that brand now is like trust, and what was the dude who tweeted? It was like 8 years ago. He was the Steelers running back, and he tweeted that he didn't believe that the Twin Towers came down by the airplanes. And then Champs dropped him the next day. That was the early on. And, like, people still aren't learning. I'm like, I've had this figured out at 10.
You're right.
I knew how to, because we in so many different kinds of circles. I've probably been in, if not touched, 45 of the 50 states. The circles that we rolled in, my mother and father took us everywhere. So even when there weren't kids, and we were at an adult business meeting or an adult outing, we had to know how to act. And so it was constantly kind of like when I said when I lived in Japan, how everybody's kind of watching you. That's how I felt. I didn't have the prestige of like, the Jacksons or the Jordans and things like that, but it was enough to get it from both angles. If you didn't know him from football, you knew him as a Christian. I wasn't sure which one I wanted you to know him for. That's right. Because that had been, especially because of going to church, that's Jeremy White. That's doing the church. I'm like, yeah. I can't. Even when I got older, people were like, man, I had one of my friends this summer. She was like, man, I know you had to mac on some chicks in high school. I was like, do you forget who you're talking to? I was like, there ain't no way. I was scared that the first time I would put it in, there would have been a baby, and I had AIDS.
That's how we were taught.
With a double wrap condom.
Yeah.
But not only that, though, your dad would be laying some hands on you and speaking in tongues.
I mean, it was. There was a good story. It was a good story. I was 15 years old. I liked this girl named Kelly. Okay, Kelly, if you're listening, Kapowski, right? Kelly, if you're listening, you probably didn't know I liked you. I mean, we did cuddle at the movies, but so
if you're single and ready to mingle,
hey, there you go. There you go. And you know, put it out there. Me and my wife had a mutual agreement. I'm actually recently separated, so I am single now. You know,
and ready to mingle.
Hey, yeah, ready, exactly, ready to mingle. So no, I like this girl named Kelly, and I remember I came home and at 15 years old, I had never made out with a girl, and I was like, Mom, you know what? I think you know what? And she's like, let's talk to your dad about it. I was like, what?
How did this go to code
What
red?
did you do?
This escalated quickly.
It was that quick.
Yeah.
He walked in. You would have thought, you would have thought I came home and told him not only had I gotten 2 girls pregnant, but I had gotten 4 girls pregnant. He hit the roof. I was like, and at that point, it was like the first time in my life, I was like 15. And I was like, Dad, but I know you weren't a virgin before you got married. Like, why are you throwing this on me? You know, so I don't know. It's just going back and looking at it and kind of reading some of the words I wrote. I'm not as hard on myself anymore. I'm not like, I still have strong convictions and feelings about certain topics, but I don't want to say I've become more open-minded because that I was always open-minded. It's just now I'm just even recently, I'm about to be a statistic with a divorce. Like, even just not that I'd look down on people who had divorces, but just to go through life, you know, and be a 32-year-old man and have experienced some stuff. It's like, you know what? We are all in this thing together.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's one of the things that frustrates me about religion and church, and we've talked about this many times, is just we've looked down on people, and we got to realize we're all in the same boat. Right. Like, we're all equal. None of us are any better. So, no, I understand.
Yeah, we could talk for hours about that because a lot of it in there was a lot of anger stemming from what the churches that he trusted, what they did to him. They completely made him an outcast. A buddy of mine actually up in Green Bay, KGB, Kabir Bajabiamila, going through the same thing. He's trying to get closer to God, and that community has completely turned their back on him and excised him from the church, where he had said, I'm trying to get closer to God. Here's what I'm studying. Would you be down with it? And they go, no, you must be part of what Reggie was doing. And because there was a pastor up there, I'd call him by name. I'm not going to do that. He said he told his congregation, Reggie's having a cult meeting when we were having Bible study in Green Bay. Oh yeah. Yeah, so it was wild too, because
that's called spiritual maturity, or maybe that's not called that.
No.
Like, yeah, it's just, it was crazy though, because the thing was, I had resentment against my dad because I thought he was initiating conversations and then looking down on other people who weren't learning what he was learning. And he sat me down. He said, no. He said, every person has asked me what I'm doing. I tell them, and they get in their feelings. And I was like, I went back in my memory. I was like, you're right. He asked you, and they just didn't like what you had to say. And the funny thing was, I always told people, if you were starting from the premise of, we both believe in this book, there were people who were mad at my dad because they couldn't hold a candle to what he was saying. Yeah. It was he hit him from every angle, and they were like, it got to the point where they were like, well, we just don't like what you're saying. That's against what we believe in our tradition. Even though he literally walked them through, let me show you why this isn't even close. And there were some people he trusted and asked. He said, "Did you know this?" And they looked him dead in the face. I said, "Yeah, we knew that, but if we preach that to our congregation, we're not going to have a congregation anymore, Reggie. We can't do that." What? Yeah. So, we just went to a deep spot here, but after our Chick-Fil-A draft.
That's even changed a lot in the last 15 years, though, where you have more and more congregations who are more open to I wouldn't say changing times or anything like that, but we're not so stuck in that, being comfortable in that traditionalism that we grew up in. Because both of us grew up in very religious homes. I mean, same topics, you had with your father, had with my father. I mean, I would have probably been better going off in my house going, I got something to tell you. I don't believe Jesus is the Son of God. No, I'm just kidding. I got a girl pregnant. That would probably been the better of the two. That's how you drop a bomb with my parents. So,
you know what? I should have done that. Hey, Dad, I don't believe in Jesus. What? I want to kiss a girl. Oh,
okay. We escaped that grenade.
Oh man! For 3 hours. I don't know what it's going to lead to after that, but we're just exploring right now.
But you do believe Jesus
Yes. Yeah, right. No, yeah. That was one thing. He never wavered on that. And that was the weird thing about it, was as far as it went, and even he studied under a guy named Nehemiah Gordon, who is straight Old Testament, and he does not believe in the New Testament, but Nehemiah knows his stuff. And Nehemiah did not believe Jesus was the Messiah, but my dad was still like, that doesn't mean I can't learn from you.
Oh, yeah.
And it was wild, because Nehemiah lived with us for a while, and actually introduced my dad to South Park. And that's when I kind of knew what was, like, tides were changing, because my dad was like, Jeremy, did you watch the Mormon episode? I was like, Father, you wouldn't let me watch The Simpsons. What are you doing?
Dude, Sesame Street was hardcore.
Couldn't watch the Smurfs because there was magic in it.
That's right.
Yeah,
Same here.
Yeah,
Same.
Oh, wow.
He-Man, the Power of Grayskull.
Oh, there's a story in the book where I went over somebody else's house, and they didn't. The mother did not believe that I would, stay where I was. I was 4. And she goes, Jeremy, come on, we'll watch the Smurfs. And I literally took my hands, put them over my eyes. I said, no, Miss Mary, I can't. My dad said I can't watch the Smurfs. Please don't put it on. And she told my mom, and my mom was like, I'm so proud of him. I was 4 years old. So, yeah, when I say it's been around for a while, that conviction's been there for a long time.
Oh, yeah. Trust me, every summer I'd have to go burn my CDs of secular music. Get right.
My dad listened. He wanted to. Okay, I'm jumping around here.
No, you're fine.
So he got me up. Okay, all right. I got to start from the beginning on this story. So I came home from a basketball game. We had just lost after going 7-0. It was a rec basketball league, and we were 7-1 now. I was pissed. I knocked over a chair, then apologized, and got home, and he had taken this garage cover floor mat, like the ones that are just the floor mats. You're not supposed to bring them in the house. And he covered this car, and he took a dry erase marker and just so sloppily wrote, Elon, here we come. Right? And I'm like, if that car is what I think it is, I'm so mad at him, because I didn't like draw attention to myself. Pulls off the top. It's a Chevy SSR, a yellow one. Okay. And he says to me, you like it? And I'm like, you know exactly what I'm thinking. First of all, I don't like to flaunt. I wear the same shoes, stretch them out. I wore Fila's for 2 years. My mom was like, you need some new shoes. I'm like, no, these are good. And I don't like drawing attention to myself. He said, bet you won't drive it to school tomorrow. I was like, what is going on? Drove it to school tomorrow, got all the attention. People with $40,000 rims on their cars at Hopewell at the time, and they were looking at me. I'm like, oh, all this attention. He worked me for 2 weeks. Jeremy, I know you really wanted the Escalade. We can get it. But here's the kicker. He knew I didn't want him to spend lots of money on a car, so he added, we already get the discount because I own the dealership and the rebates are awesome. I'm like, well, if the rebates are awesome and we're already getting a discount, then it's probably, and I'm doing, my mental math.
Right.
It's financial sense according to Dave Ramsey.
Exactly. So it's like, so he's working me over 2 weeks, and I'm like, no, I don't want to see him on the pre-show. I want to see him on the pre-show. I want to see him on the pre-show. I was like, Dad, if you're going to get it, I'll take it. He kept the SSR. The whole plan was
Smart
he knew
move.
had he asked my mother.
SSR.
That's right.
That's smooth.
She would never have let him have it. So he bought it for me knowing I didn't want to flaunt, and then worked me over for 2 weeks to keep it that way.
Well done,
Oh,
Dad.
yeah. It was
done.
Smooth.
Super executed. And I actually found out after my dad passed, he had always wanted a Bentley. And my mother always said no. Obviously, cars are terrible investment. Kids, cars are terrible investments. Right. If you make your first $1 million, don't go buy a car. If you're going to buy a car, buy a Civic.
Right.
Save gas.
And they have great crash ratings, too.
Yeah, it does. My mother wanted me a Volvo. I was like, wow, those are the ugliest cars ever.
Boxy but good.
Yeah. So, okay, I feel like I have gone off the rails. Chick-fil-A sauce, where are we at?
I do have one question. When I was growing up, I remember just watching your dad and just admiring just the stand that he took for Jesus, and wow, just a huge hero of the faith. And then one of my friends was the biggest Packers fan, and so I reached out to him this week, and so this is a shout out that Tommy had.
Okay,
who did Reggie play with or against that influenced his faith the most?
Oh my goodness, that's a Sarah White question. With or against that influence his faith? As far back as my memory can go, I always thought he was the only one ministering in the whole locker room. Because I'm thinking about it, because he helped Randall Cunningham, I know. He helped Chris Carter a lot.
He's like, Lawrence Taylor, Don't be like that guy.
I got older and found out some stuff about Lawrence Taylor. I was like, wow. It's just like
Lawrence Taylor just ran 20 yards sniffing the line.
it's just, I used to always hear people make jokes like that. I'm like, what White line? What? My last name's White. I'm Jeremy White. Yep. I was like, what is going? You guys hear the story about him in draft night? He had like 60 Coors Lights the night he got drafted. He doesn't even remember getting drafted.
He's pre-gaming it.
Yeah, he's
tailgating his own draft.
That's things I wish I could have done.
Yeah. Sure.
That wouldn't have turned out. But he turned out fine. I don't know. Okay. That he played with. Okay, there was he didn't play with him, but I do know down in Tennessee there was our church that burned down in '98. I think it was. There's a guy named Jerry Upton was his pastor. I know he influenced him a lot. What's actually really interesting about Mr. Upton is that after my dad started getting into Torah and started to break roots, he went back to visit Jerry years later, and they were talking, and Jerry said, I'm getting into the same thing. And I was like, oh my gosh. I keep hearing that from people that he played with. That's a Sarah White question. I will, I'm going to go do some research on that, and I will let you know, and you can put it down in the description.
No problem.
Oh, man.
Cool. So what are some favorite memories? You talk a lot about, your dad coming down on you, but what are some of the things that just really brings joy to your heart?
He used to do imitations all the time. When I was really young, he, used to pick me up, throw me on the bed. Those times when I was really young and I'd just sit on his back and I'd just like, oh my gosh, he's such a big man, and just like hit his back and see if he felt it and stuff like that. He was a practical joker a lot. I really feel like this is why I'm scared of the dark. Hear me out. I'm not scared of the dark. I'm scared of things that come out of the dark. Mm-hmm. I still haven't had anybody justify why this is a bad thing, because you don't know what's in the dark. That's why it's dark.
Right.
And so I'm really scared of jump scares and stuff. So that's why I can't go see scare. I can go see thrillers. I love the Saw franchise, but I can't see things that have jump scares. A friend of mine said, you want to go see Slender Man? I'm like, and it was a terrible movie and it was really corny, but it took me 2 nights to be able to walk around my own house and not let my huge 100-pound dog in and say, please come upstairs with me.
Hey, look, I'm 41 years old and I still think I have to have a sheet covering my body at night because if I poke my foot out, there might be something that grabs me in the night.
Thank you. I will be hot before I will be scared.
I will sweat.
Before I will be scared. My alarm's on. No one's breaking into my house, nor have they ever. I have no justification for this, but the Golden Freddy from Five Nights at Freddy's might just be staring at me with those really small white eyes that are barely able to be made out only if you stare hard enough. It's like, so he would come around the corner and scare me, and a bunch of times. And then he was always like the one dropping the terrible dad jokes, over and over again. And so all my friends, ones who followed football or not, it didn't matter when they would drive home. Oh, your dad's hilarious. I'm like, and when I was young, I was like, yeah, he is. I'm 17. I'm like, dude, he's been literally telling the same joke. He used to do impersonations of Muhammad Ali and Rodney Dangerfield, and now it's not cool to say because of what happened, but he did a mean Bill Cosby all the time. All the time. Niggas a whole nother meaning to Jell-O pudding. But he always did the Jell-O pudding, actually just did it just, and he did Hulk Hogan. Let me tell you something, brother. When these pythons come down on you, brother, you're not going to know what hit you. Hit them with the Hot Macho Man. Oh, yeah. So we're going to do this. And it was before the Slim Jim, brother. And we came down and we had the tassels on our biceps. And Sting didn't know what was going to come after him. Now, the greatest part about it, that's exactly how Randy Savage actually sounds in real life.
Oh, yeah.
My dad was a kid in the camp. He loved wrestling. Me and him used to watch WCW Monday Night Nitro. It was the only night of the week, school night, that I got to stay up till 9 o'clock.
Ooh.
7:30 was bedtime.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
There's kids I teach now. I'm like, what time you go to bed? They're like 8.
Whenever we pass out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Parents, get your children a schedule.
That's right.
Let me tell you why. It helps me.
Selfishly,
but it's so much better for behavior. Now I'm going on a teacher rant. Put your kids to bed.
That's right. Little Geppetto does not need that sugar rush at 7 o'clock at night.
It doesn't make any sense. We had ice cream last night. Was the sun down? Yes. Good Lord. But yeah, we had to go to bed so we stayed up until 9 o'clock. WCW has nothing on, even old school WWF, which I love. WCW was a different animal because it was all those scorned people from WWF having their new names because they didn't have the rights to their old names and just really tearing down with it. Oh, that is a great story. Thank you, sir.
So share it.
Thank you, sir. So I wasn't alive. Well, I was alive for this. I don't remember. This is a good story, though. So the Eagles' wives were, if you know anything about Philly fans, obviously.
Crazy.
Right? Exactly.
Beat up just like the roads there.
The only thing I know about Philly is that's where Will Smith's from West Philadelphia.
Well, Maestro, her friend on
the playground where he spent most of his days.
Most of his days.
Was he chilling?
Just relaxing, shooting
Maxing all cool.
Yeah, shooting some b-ball out by the school.
Was he reading a Stephen King novel up to no good? Walking around in his neighborhood. So there's fights. The Philly wives stuck by each other like nobody's business, and this is late 80s. So if you thought that gangrene defense was nasty, if you put the gangrene defense against their wives and girlfriends, it didn't hold a candle. So apparently, I tell this story with reserve because I'm not sure who it was, and I remember I was trying to tell it to somebody like around when everybody came to the house after my dad passed away. Okay, some of my best memories are when everybody I've ever known was in the same spot because they were never going to meet each other.
Yeah,
and I got to introduce people from New Jersey, Tennessee, to Wisconsin. Wow. I'm having a ball, and I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, but my father's dead. Why am I, guys? Look, and I'm like, it was the weirdest juxtaposition of my life. But I was genuinely like happy to be around everybody. So I was telling this story, and my mother goes, "Shh," and I was like, "What?" She goes, "That story. The wife is actually here, the one who did this." So here's the story. So all the Philly wives sat in the same section. Okay. I don't know who it was, and if I did, I wouldn't say. But one of the players put their wife and their side piece in the same section.
No.
The wife knew about the side piece.
Oh, no.
Went and approached the side piece.
Oh, no.
Side piece got thrown down the stairs. My mother apparently was holding me at 6 months years old. That's the second time I've said that. She was holding me, and apparently she got a punch in.
Ooh.
Everybody took a turn punching who came down the stairs. And I look at my mother, because when I first heard this story, I look at my mom, and my mom's from Cleveland. And she looks at me, and I'm like, that was that Cleveland coming back out in you, wasn't it? But
in Kentucky, we call that the 606 coming out.
It was wild. But like it was little stories like that. And then like, I know, like, I remember my dad called me one time. He was really, really silly. And that's what, like, a lot of people never got to see that side. They saw the super dedicated to God side. They saw the man beast on the field who could chuck people with his pinky, but didn't understand that when he came home, he would when he tore his hamstring, the reason he knew he was okay to play in the next game is because he was playing around with us and me and my sister and saying, my hamstring feels good. I'm going to call my trainer. But he did the best he could with what he had. He didn't have a dad growing up. I know my granddad, but my granddad wasn't there for him. So the fact that he turned out to be as affectionate even as he was is, in my mind, kind of a modern day miracle. Because he always, every time I cried, he never like hit me in the chest and was like, man up. Never. I mean, I remember it was maybe a year after the Super Bowl. He was able to buy our whole family rings. So not only did he get one, he was able to buy one for us. And one of my friends who I just met, he goes, "You think I can ever see a Super Bowl ring?" I was like, "It's in a vault." No. And I just met you. No. So mine is in there too. And he was able to get one for my sister and one for my mom.
Nice.
And I remember getting it, and me being Jeremy White and feeling my little convictions. I'm almost 12, and I'm like, I didn't earn this. Like, you've been talking about you wanted to do this. I see you busting your behind outside in Tennessee for 3 hours a day. I've seen you thrown up. I've seen you put in work every day. You wake up at 5 a.m., all this stuff. 17 years. That was not counting college. That was counting USFL. I'm like, you've been working your whole life for this. I'm like, I'm 12 years old. I'm tired of people thinking I get everything I want anyway, and now I have a Super Bowl ring. What did I do to exactly earn this?
What awareness. I mean, it's awareness to have at that age, too.
It just, and so I started crying. And my dad and mom came in the room. They're like, what is wrong? I was like, I didn't do anything to earn this. And they sat me down. I was like, do you listen to us? I was like, yeah, but I'm supposed to. Kid, Adam listens to his mom. He doesn't have a Super Bowl ring. My best friend. And they're like, do you try to do what God wants you to do? Yes. Do you do your best in school? Yeah, I get straight A's. That's why I get video game coupons, and stuff like that. That's what I'd save him and all this stuff. And he started crying with me. And I looked at him and I'm like, wait a second, why are you crying? And he was just happy that I had that thing. But he wasn't scared to show his emotion around me. He, never, like I said, never told me to man up. He kissed me on the cheek till I was 14. Because he always used to get in the pulpit and say, there's a statistic, dads stop kissing their sons after 6. Like, he's like, we're raising, generation of men and we won't even,
My dad still kisses me on the cheek.
Yeah. Every time I see Dad, we hug and kiss.
Yeah, and it's just, it's being lost. Yeah, and it's kind of, I can see it every day because when I teach, I'm like that unicorn. They're like, oh, you're in education. Yeah, I'm in education. Oh, are you teaching high school, middle school? No. Are you principal? No. I teach kindergarten. Oh. You teach kindergarten. I tell you what, if I was okay with just like, picking up anybody, that's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Get a cute puppy, tell people you teach kindergarten.
Oh, yeah. That's
never have a lonely night. just put it out there. Like, what do you do? Teach kindergarten. Oh.
Your Tinder profile.
Like, yeah. Like
just to sign us as kindergarten teacher.
I care. But it's just, but the thing, I don't know whether to be proud to hear it or to be a little sad. Everybody's like, oh, we need more males in kindergarten. Oh, it's so wonderful what you do. People used to come in my kindergarten. I love coming in your room because all the kids give me hugs. Like there was teachers I taught with that were just like, oh, no, I don't let the kids hug me. I was like, oh, come here. I have kids asking for permission now. Like, Mr. White, can I come give you a hug? Only if I can give you one. Not that cheesy, but yeah. So I just that was the thing with him. He was never he pushed me towards what I wanted to do. I know me and my cousin had a conversation. He said, I know your dad let you do what you were passionate about. He's like, when you played sports, there was a part of him that was really happy, but he still wanted you to, if that's what you wanted to do, you were going to do it. Because when I wanted to be a veterinarian, he told me he was going to open my own practice. And then I had the Super Bowl ring emotion, which was, I didn't work for this. I can't just come out of college and own a practice. Right. And then when I told him I wanted to be a journalist, he said, you know what? We should make a Sackman magazine together. I'll start a magazine with you. I was like, we're only going to have 6 months of content, And then and I'm sure, and that's the thing that actually took me overseas and took me into what I'm doing now, is like, it's one of those things when a tragedy happens, especially with a death, people are like, what do I do now? And I tell them, what would they have wanted you to do? Like, you're not going to... I a friend of mine who is still struggling with their grandmother's death. They passed in 2013. And me and them just regularly talk. And I'm like, what would she have wanted you to do? Well, I can't be her. She's not asking you to be her. I'm not my father. It's not... And if I had decided that that's who I was going to be... there's a great book that I recommend to all your listeners. I don't know if we do editing, but this is the name of the book. It's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F***.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I saw that on Amazon top list the other day.
I tell you what, I'm telling you, this is not hyperbole. It is books that have shaped my life up to this point, the Bible and The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F***. I listened to that book, and it said, if we measure our success on certain factors, there are people who decide what success looks like, so they're never going to be like at peace. And the example he gave was, he said there was this guy who was in a rock band, and they ended up cutting him from the rock band. The rock band went over to sell, like 500 million copies. He did well for himself. He ended up selling like hundreds of millions. But he was measuring his success on the band he got cut from rather than the band that he made. The band he got cut from was Metallica. So I don't know the guy who was, but he started his own thing and he did really well for himself. But they asked him, do you feel like you're successful? And he was like, no. And he was, he felt terrible. Whereas there was another guy who got replaced, and that band went on to be, arguably the best band that has ever existed in the Beatles. And that guy who got cut, I think the original drummer who they replaced, this is the story. He just ended up being a family man. And they asked him, do you feel successful? He said, yeah. I got a wife. I got a kid.
That's what it's supposed to be.
I'm so happy. Yeah. And they were like, you just, and there's a lot of other more subtle differences in that book. You think you know what's going to happen by the title, but it's really about one of those things of, one, you need to recognize your own mortality, which is something I'm coming to grips with. And that's why I'm like taking more chances with things I want to do in life, because I'm like, you have to chase your joy. You don't have tomorrow to chase your joy. You got to chase your joy today, because the worst that can happen, like even with Estelle and Gustoff, I think I've sold 35 copies. Like, but I got 2 books. Yeah. Like, and I did it. I did it. And it might not be nationally reviewed or anything like that, but I did it because of what I wanted to do. And they were like, too many people don't do what they want to do because we live in a world of extremes. You either see the extreme success or you see the extreme failure. You either see the Kardashians or you see somebody who's got their house torn up by Florence. You never see it. Best quotes. Don't compare your behind the scenes to somebody's highlight reel. We do that so often, and we're like, oh, that can't be me. But then I get mad at society and social media, and I'm like, but then you get mad at people for succeeding in something that seems so stupid.
That's right.
And I'm like, but everybody, how many people have you talked to? They're like, I had that same idea. Oh, yeah. If I would have just done that, and I'm like, so why didn't you? Well, I had a kid, and I had this, and my wife left me, or I was
still working at Chick-Fil-A.
I was still working at Chick-Fil-A, and this guy asked for 8 sauces for 8 nuggets,
and just blew my mind.
And it's just like, and especially now with the internet, you really don't have an excuse not to go after your passion.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
There's like no excuse, and this is not, it's somebody speaking from an ivory tower, like you've always had it good. I can get lumped into stuff, like you don't know what it's like. No, I can give you an example of plenty of people who were in my situation that didn't turn out like me.
And that's probably the greater statistic on that too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I hate to name names because this is tragic, but I was friends with Andy Reid's son. I knew him. We would see each other in the locker room all the time. When I heard about what happened to him, I broke up.
Right.
I was like, dude, what? Dude, what? Why?
Right.
Or Dungy's son. Like, what in the world? And it's like everybody's got their own struggles and excuses where they could go with stuff, but it like I said, we're all in this together. Kind of, and just go after your passion. You don't.
I think one important thing from this also is just that, people may have called Reggie one of the greatest players of all time, or Hall of Famer, or whatever, great minister, but you called him Dad.
Yeah.
I kind of just, I'll be honest with you, after we quit this, I'll probably call my dad. Just because that's that person there that we did, us sitting on a TV never got to see that. That's and that's really what the most important part is. Not this entertainment thing, not this the millions of dollars or whatever. None of this outside. He influenced you and your sister, and in turn, you're influencing new generations now. So.
And it's wild because he actually got in his feelings, because I'm a diehard Cowboy fan. Breaking news. So he got in his feelings. Emmitt Smith was my favorite player growing up. It wasn't Reggie White. It was Emmitt Smith.
You get a perspective that none of us have ever seen. If we roll back the curtain on the NFL, what are we going to see? Behind the scenes.
A company that does not care about the people who built it. At all. What John Mackey had to go through to get what he got was an atrocity. For what Bart Starr has to go through right now, and what look, my mom keeps stuff so close to the vest. You guys hear about the petition that she signed with Eric Dickerson 2 weeks ago? It was like, and the funny thing was, a buddy of mine who's a fan, he said, oh, I heard about your mom signing that thing with Eric Dickerson for the Hall of Fame players to get
rings,
benefits.
Right?
Oh, the ring too. You know about that.
I know about it. Yeah.
That right there. You want to talk about a sore subject? Because
I didn't mean to do it.
No, let me go back on this. So, two things. If you pull back the curtain, right? One, the people who fought for it the most are not reaping any of the benefits. Okay, let's go back. Jeremy, your dad got a $16 million contract, and he was the third highest paid player in the league. It was a $16 million 5-year, non-guaranteed, incentive-laden, maxed-out contract. 16. I told my mom, I was like, every time I say 16, she's like, 16? She's like, most of that was incentives. Most of that was incentives. Uncle Sam was going to take 40, period. Not saying it was not still a lot of money. I still think, we're not going to talk about taxes. I still think, but people are like, $40 million. I was like, 22, or something like when people say that. And I'm like, it's still 22. I'm like, you'd be mad if somebody took 18.
Don't get me started on taxes.
That's another topic for another day. And it's going to make me sound like a whiny rich kid. That's not that. I'm just like, dude, you wouldn't want, if somebody told you got 100 and then somebody else came in and said, I'm taking 48. You're okay. That's fine.
But hold on, what if you didn't file that $48 correctly? We may have to come back and take a few extra dollars.
Oh, now you're talking. What was his name? What's his name from the Wesley Snipes? So okay, pull back the curtain on the NFL. So she actually signed something for player benefits, and there's not enough. One, there's not enough healthcare, like just healthcare. I'm not asking. I don't know if it's necessarily being asked for like a pension. But if there ever needed to be a pension for a select group of players, that's it. Especially them with the, and not having the right helmets and how hard they used to hit each other and just can you imagine?
The new documentary about Junior Seau just came out. I haven't seen it yet.
It's just stuff like that. And you guys got built on the back of gladiators.
Yeah.
And you're not, and you make, and this was the statistic when I was 18. The NFL made $7 billion a year in profit. When I was 18, it's got to be almost double that now. It's got to be with fantasy football and them having a cut of everything. It's got to be something. And I actually heard it on the radio this morning. Shout out to Morning Men on Sirius XM. Because I call in and I love that radio station. They're a national radio station, and it feels like talking to you guys. And I'm like, I'm on a national. But anyway, they actually pointed out, they're like, the players' union's doing a disservice too. Because if they wanted this, they could fight for it. And they haven't. So there's a disconnect somewhere. The Players Union wants to make it the NFL's fault. The NFL wants to deflect, and so they hire Nike to do what they did. That's my conspiracy theory. And everybody's sitting here just deflect, when really it's, well, they played for however many years. They made millions of dollars they should have invested. We're even going beyond that. Even if you did, you should still be able to have the rights afforded to you by the company saying they're going to provide for you, especially when you said so. Yeah. When my father passed away, my mother lost her health insurance.
Wow.
That was it. Like, it was it. And it was
just dirty.
How in the world did I know they drive? I was like, okay. So imagine, I don't often, say, oh, but it's Reggie White and we're the Whites. He built defense.
Yeah.
He built free agency. I tweeted OBJ when he got his contract. I said, can Sarah White get a thank you letter? I ain't asking for your money. I just need a thank you letter. I need you to understand what happened.
Oh, yeah.
Reggie Bush got signed, all these first-round picks, getting gobs and gobs. Do you know what his signing bonus was when he was for the Eagles the first year he got drafted by USFL? $150,000.
Holy cow.
That was banging back then.
It was. It was. And then, I'm not going to tell that story.
Heck, the league minimum now is crazy.
Oh, yeah. It's like, what, if you're a veteran now, if you get signed for league minimum, it's at least $600,000, right? So
$600,000 or $650,000.
Yeah. It's like you just, and that's not even, if you make the 53 roster and not the practice squad, even practice squad people get like $50,000 a year, I think. So, yeah, it's not to compare eras. It's just, okay, what was put in? Right. It's just what was put in. So you pull back the curtain on that, and they run it like a capitalist business should be run, which I'm not against. But you're like, it's almost as if it's not. You're making money from the stadium, the branding alone. That's why as many people that hate Jerry Jones was one of the smartest people to do
he's
what
a genius
he did.
when it comes to Dallas Cowboys.
He said, we're not, because I always ask him, I was like, why can't I find any Cowboy stuff? She said, because Jerry fought the NFL and said, no, this is my brand, so I want the entire cut. And they got mad and said, well, okay, we're just not going to include you. You go get all those NFL logo, all over logo stuff. You never found the Cowboys on that. Jerry Jones knew what he was doing. And people are like, oh, gosh, he's a terrible GM, da-da-da. Cowboys have been relevant for 30 years.
Yeah.
They're still called America's team.
Exactly. Even though as much as I'm a Cowboys fan, I'm like, no, the Packers became America's team back in 95. I hate to admit it, and they've been irrelevant. They've been bad, and he still sells the Cowboys. He's an excellent businessman. NFL doesn't want anybody going in on their intellectual property, even though they weren't the ones who built it up. It's the only league that doesn't have a person on the front of their logo. They are more concerned with the look of them than what's actually happening with the players. Jerry West is on the NBA. A random person caricatures MLB, even Major League Soccer. They're all about the shield. That's fine, but then that ends up pulling kind of a Reggie White and a Jeremy White. You're representing me. No, you need to be just looking out for the people who are helping you with it. Like, I get contracts and stuff, but there is, I've thought about it. I've gone back and forth on it a lot. Yes, every NFL contract needs to be guaranteed. I used to think, I'm like, man, that's not a good investment. What if they get hurt? Yeah, but what if they get hurt and literally their knee just blows out? But and then the other thing is, I'm so concerned with why the NFL is not harping on getting these new guys financial planners.
Yeah, I've never understood that either.
And saying, look, if you're going to come in, you're about to make gobs of money. Here's what you do: delete Twitter. If you're building up your brand, get somebody to run it. If you're going to run it on your own, don't run it on your own. It's just because there's these guys who make mistakes now that I'm just like.
Also, can somebody tell that to the president? I'm just asking.
It's just like, Everybody get that text today?
Yeah.
What was that text about? No.
Yeah, it's an emergency. Somebody said, I fully expecting the drunk text me soon. I was like, that's hilarious. What happened? Oh, she's so hot. Who?
God, that would be awful.
That would be great. That would be so great if you got a presidential drunk text.
All of a sudden, we get a text in Russian.
Wait a minute.
We did it. What? Who is we? It's a slender man. I'm going to get under my cover and be hot rather than scared. But so I don't know. That's what I would say. My mom knows a whole lot more about that. But to go back on the Hall of Fame ring, I know this is a long answer to a good question. The Hall of Fame not only didn't give us a jacket, they just gave us the patch, which is fine. I get it. Jacket. It would have been nice to just have a jacket to put the patch on to frame the. What are you worried? Are you worried that Jeremy White's going to go around being like, "Hey, guess what, guys? I'm in the Hall of Fame.
Here's my Super Bowl ring.
Here's my Super Bowl rings. Here's both of them. 2 of them. It's like I don't understand what the Hall of Fame is not directly tied to the NFL. Like it's a separate entity. So I'm just like, why are we so worried about? Like, are you scared I'm going to put it on eBay? Like, do you really think I'm going to do that? And if I do. I mean, Lawrence Taylor's son put his football, which I still can't. Didn't Tom Brady sell one of his Super Bowl rings? $489,000.
That I don't know.
I think it's sold for. Lawrence Taylor's son sold his for $80.
$80?
$80,000.
Okay. That's totally different.
But even so, it's Lawrence Taylor's Super Bowl ring. Do you know that $80,000 has got to be the steelest of the steals?
Yeah.
80 grand? Think about how fast you can blow 80 grand. I could blow $1 million with a summer and a bad habit.
Oh, yeah.
80 grand for Lawrence Taylor's Super Bowl ring?
I would just keep going around the Chick-Fil-A circle over. I'd have party platters in the back stacked up.
But yeah, so they didn't give us a jacket. Fine. But what really messed me up, and they did it to Walter Payton's son too, is they don't give rings to anyone posthumously. So Ken Stabler didn't get one. Junior Seau's family didn't get one. But here's the messed up part. They made the ring. They make the ring and they keep it in the vault. Why?
Yeah.
So you have Reggie White's ring. You have Walter Payton's ring. You have Junior Seau's ring. You have Ken Stabler's ring. You have the senior committee people's rings just sitting in a vault somewhere in the Hall of Fame. And people have tried to get it, and they keep losing. And I was like, why? Why would you make it? It just, I don't understand. I don't understand the logic. I understand a lot of stuff. I've lived a lot of places. I'll make, not excuses, I'll make reasoning for things that don't seem like, I'm always trying to understand perspectives. I still can't wrap my head around it. Even so, would I have sold it? No, I wouldn't have sold it. Would you think I was the family member to sell it? Even if you did, that's none of your business. Why do you make the ring? I don't get it. So I never tire of telling that story because I'm like, someday I'm going to be loud enough about this and everybody's going to be like, wait a second. But I don't know. That's a separate thing. The whole thing. Gosh. They did give us a replica of his bust, which we haven't opened because that would be tear fest. Do you want the replica of his bust? No, I'd actually like the ring. Right. The one with not his face on it, where I have to relive. Yeah. Come on, dude. So
tell us a little bit about Estelle and Gustoff. Where did that come from, and where's it? Is there? I heard that there might be a second one coming. Is that right?
There will be. This is actually gonna. I got to call. I got to call Miss Lola. She's gonna be 14. So. 2008. 2008. Before I graduated from college in 2008. I was recently single, ready to mingle again. And actually didn't, had no jobs lined up. I was looking for jobs, but it was 2008. Yeah. I don't know if you know about this thing that happened in 2008.
Maybe a bust.
Bubble, housing crisis. Yeah. So I couldn't have done anything unless I had, the NFL Network said you can come be a producer here, like an intern producer. But then my uncle sat me down. He's like, you sure you want to make intern producer money in California? Good point. That. So I looked into
jobs. Talk about taxes. Hey,
California stand.
Model for not what to do. I got a job in Japan, and I didn't start until February of 2009. Well, in the meantime, I didn't just want to sit around. So I went and got a job at a daycare, and I was in the 3 to 5 year old room. My mother always told me I was going to be a teacher. I never believed her, and then here we are, 12 years later. So she was like, I always knew. I'm like, how? She was like, you're my son. So, so I was in the 3 to 5 year old room, and they were just happy to have a male. They were so appreciative. I didn't know, one standard from another standard, but we went in there and I just made it fun. And there was about 20 minutes to kill at the end of every day waiting for the parents to come pick them up. By the way, if the pickup time is 6 o'clock and your school has a policy of $1 a minute, that's reasonable. Pick your kids up on time. So I just started telling the story. I had, the British singer Estelle? Yes. So I was listening to her at the time, which if you haven't heard her first album, the one with Kanye West is like, but her rest of her album, like one of the few people I can listen to her album all the way through. I was like, wow, this girl's awesome. So they were like, Mr. White, tell us a story. And I was Mr. Jeremy then. I hadn't earned my last name on the back of the jersey yet. I was Mr. Germany to some of them, or Mr. Jeremy to some of them. One of my friends calls me germaphobe. So Jer Bear. I got a lot of different connotations with my first name. So Mr. Jeremy tells the story. Okay, we had a princess named Estelle and a prince named, I have no idea where Gustoff came from. It was literally just the first thing. I was like, Gustoff, that's a wonderful name. Started telling this story. Every day for about 3 or 4 weeks. It got to the point where the parents started showing up early because they wanted to hear how it ended. Because I kept leaving cliffhangers. Right. So I went home and opened up Microsoft Word. Google Docs wasn't invented yet. And I'm typing away and I'm just writing down the story. Well, in 2011, while I was in Japan, I was like, the story's already there. I just have to put it in poetic form. So I sat down for 2 hours and just banged it out. And it was 1,500 words. Just did it. It was just boom. There, children's book. Took it to a buddy of mine who worked with me in Japan. He is an art teacher in Detroit. And he said, Jeremy, I'll draw the pictures for you. I was like, thank you, because I can't draw. I'm like, my stick figures are notorious. I drew a picture of an elephant one time, and my kids were confused because they thought the trunk was a snake. But they never forgot, ears open. Like an elephant. It was great, but terrible drawings. But
that's the reason why I don't tattoo, because they shake like Michael J. Fox.
It's funny because it's true. He shakes. And there's going to be another Back to the Future, isn't there? I heard he's doing it. I heard he's doing one.
Oh, gosh.
I heard he's going to do one. They're going to reboot it. I don't know if they're going to reboot it or it's going to be a sequel. And he's going to be in it. And I'm like, more power to him. That's a lot of editing. That's a terrible joke. I'm sorry.
Somebody get Michael another cup of water.
Oh, my gosh. Dad, I'm sorry. So, okay. So, but that it came from that, and it just stemmed off of. There's a panda in the book because all the characters were based off what the kids said they wanted their animal to be, sort of thing. And Kung Fu Panda was popular at the time, so there's a panda in there. There were talking trees because I had saw Narnia and Lord of the Rings. No, okay. Lord of the Rings and the trees. So I just threw a bunch of different stuff in there and just tried to make it as fun and adventurous as I could. But the elephant in the story is actually based off of this girl who was in my class, 3.5 at the time. This girl can read. I can tell you now because I know it now because I went to school for it. She was reading at probably a 4th grade level at 3.5.
Wow.
And had taught herself how to. She should not have ever been born. She was a preemie. Her lungs weren't working correctly. She had a machine to breathe for her at night. Her mother told me explicitly don't let her nap because she won't sleep at night, because if she doesn't sleep at night, she grabs the books and she teaches herself how to read. Mom's a nurse, dad's a firefighter. They don't have time to teach her how to read. Been one of the most extraordinary people I ever have come in contact with. Ended up getting diagnosed with Asperger's, all sorts of stuff. She was on, I know no other way to say this, she was on my about getting this book done. Is Estelle and Gustoff done? No, Lola, it's not. Well, I mean, what are you waiting for? When are you going to get it done? Because it doesn't Estelle, because she still gives me crap because the elephant was supposed to be pink. Because her favorite Dr. Seuss was Horton Hears a Who.
Right.
Oh, there you go.
So I got her, and she freaked. She's like, oh my God, you finished? I'm like, I finished it. So the inspiration came from the kids. Like I said, I use my love of writing and my love for poetry to make something. It's got a rhythm to it. That's the only kind of kids books I will write because I love reading picture books to my kids, but they need more rhythm. Like Dr. Seuss, he had a synchronization, he had a rhythm and a rhyme for everything that he did, and it just flows. So but the second one's written. I'm just waiting for the artwork. The prequel is ready. Well, okay, not ready. It's halfway there. I thought it was crap. I went back and read it. I'm like, oh my God, this is deep. So it was actually super deep. It's, I've got an idea for how I want the artwork. And I'm actually, from this weekend, I got to call Lola. She's going to be 14 in April. She actually was writing the backstory for the panda, or the elephant, and Estelle. She banged out something. I haven't showed Leon yet, but she banged out something in 15 minutes on her iPhone that I looked at her. I was like, "Did you use the word gorge? The gorge and the like she was her descriptions of stuff was just so off. I said, Lola, can you help me do the novel of it? Because what my dream is to have it. You read the picture books when you're younger, and like a Harry Potter sort of thing. You grow up, you see the more adult, darker side of what's going on with Estelle and Gustoff. They're human too. Yeah, it's fun. But like, can you imagine if Aladdin and Jasmine had like a real story about when the genie was kind of a two-faced jerk or something, something, but just that's real life. That's why I like all these.
It's the monkey. I'm just gonna go out there.
Even with all the recreations of the Disney movies now, where they just they tap into just a little bit more. Hey, people are human, sort of thing. Like, so I kind of want that, and I'd love for it to be like a novella that's like 70 pages, and then when they're 15 to be a full-fledged novel, like 700 pages, so they're reading a story they already know, but in more detail, and I'm not going to be able to do it without this little girl. And she's not little, she's a teenager. But so that's the vision with it. Nice. I mean, what I would really like one day is for, keep growing with the YouTube channel, have this go out and be enough like supplemental income, because my passion is education and getting the foundation for that K through 2, because I feel like we've forgotten about K through 2 in this country because it's not a measurable statistic with reading levels and things, and politicians and people in power like numbers that they can read in 30 seconds, even though nothing ever worth doing takes 30 seconds.
Well, my wife will disagree.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Is that how the kids were made?
Yeah. I'll just leave that right there.
Yeah, so anyway, I was gonna go serious. I can't now. But no, LeBron starting his school is wonderful. It's 4th through whatever it is. Ron Clark Academy down in Atlanta. It's 4th through 8th. Middle schools get focused on. High schools get focused on. They're very easy to predict. The numbers are easy to. Math makes sense. Kindergarten doesn't make sense. First grade makes even less sense. Second grade, they're in that weird transition stage, getting ready for third grade, which now finally has numbers. And there is no commitment in this country to saying, look, if we just fix pre-K, K, first, and second, guess what we won't have to do? We will not have to teach an 8th grader who's on a 3rd grade reading level.
But we tried that several times, like Head Start.
Yes,
but the problem is they're fundamentally flawed before they even begin.
Right, because they are throwing money at it, thinking money's going to fix it,
and then they throw more money,
and then they're just throwing more money at it. Right, and you don't hire passionate teachers because passionate teachers either stay where they are or get burnt out, and then you have to spend over $5 billion a year retraining new teachers. So it's like this whole, it's just this cycle. And it's like, the weird thing is you go into schools, go talk to K through 2 literacy facilitators that are worth their 2 cents, okay? And ask them, doesn't everybody, even the people who started Head Start, don't they understand that if they just do this, if it's literally Occam's razor, it's that simple. Don't they? And I've been looked in the eye, they said, oh yeah, they know. But they're not going to do it. I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll just start my own, branch out. I'll be so loud over here.
Well, but look at when free market takes over. Look at you have the certain Khan Academy. I mean,
exactly.
You have great examples of when people get fed up, they let their free market takes over, and they producing Khan Academy produces some of the greatest stuff out there. Correct. I mean, even for middle school kids, too.
And it's because. One, they don't necessarily attach. They do it reverse. Khan Academy has got it so good because they said, go home, learn about it. We're going to practice it together in school. You know, my educational pedagogy and my philosophy is a lot of my parents want homework as a way to babysit their child. And so I had a mother who shall not be named, and I will not say where, in this country or another country, said, are you giving my child homework? I was like, first of all, it's September. Second of all, no, the only thing I need you to do is write with them for 15 minutes, read with them for 15 minutes. I don't care what you write and read about, just do that. That's your homework.
I got to do that with them?
Right. And then so I finally gave homework, and then 2 weeks later it was, well, the homework you're sending home, they're a little bored. No, you're not working with them. So I'm not telling you need to spend an hour. I'm telling you 15 minutes every day. That's all I need from you. We'll take care of the rest in school. But my generation is so scared of school because we've had so many bad experiences. We can barely get into a classroom to talk to our teacher about our child because we don't trust our teacher because the system is so broken, and it goes from there.
Yeah, and a lot of parents have checked out too.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
They've checked out of the race, and also I with my career, I have a lot more free time to drop and go and check on my kids and be involved in their schooling. And of course, first day of school, I'm like, hey, if you'd like for me to be a room mom, I'd be more than happy to help you out. And of course, they look at me, and I've only had one take me up on the offer so far, but.
It's almost like you don't know what to do. It's like, wait, what? You're available? Listen, you stay right there. When I find out what I know, what I don't know, what I know to ask that I don't know right now, I'm going to come talk to you. And then before you know it, it's Teacher Appreciation Week in May when we're all burnt out and we forget that.
But no, it's you see it. But a lot of parents, like you said, they expect that babysitting. They if they're not if that homework isn't there to keep them tedious and occupied, then they probably have some electronic device in their hands now that keep them occupied.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just.
But then be the same parents that complain that say, I don't want them doing that all day at school. Whoa.
Yeah.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Not that that's my philosophy. It's just, it's interesting because people are like, oh, if they're doing that, I always tell parents, if you come in my classroom and we're loud and you're not sure what's going on, I need you to stay. Because if you just come in, pop in, you see that we're loud and we're turning it down for what? Because somebody counted to 100 for the first time without using letters. And, and we're turning the lights on and off to make it a club scene, and I'm letting them jump all up and down, and you're worried that 24 kids are going to smash into each other, and you're like, I can't believe this man. What is he doing? What's his educational philosophy? I need you to stay. Because if you stay and you see the culture of our classroom, then you'll start to actually, I get it now. But I've had some, long in the tooth, parents who have been in the education system for a long time. The first time we had a conference, they were, well, I'm not really sure how you do what you do because this, and this. Took about 6 months, and they were like, I love you. I was like, I told you, it just take a little time. I'm a little bit, off on the fringes here, but it works. And, and they're like, I even had a mom tell me, or a grandmother tell me today, she's like, oh, no, I don't need you to explain your curriculum because I know you're just different. I was like, thank you.
That's what we like to say.
Sounds like kindergarten cop.
Oh, yeah. So I wish we could stay here for forever, but we got to wrap it up, and I've got to go back to work, so that's fun. So let's reiterate where people can get the book, where they can get a hold of you, where they can just shameless plug wherever you want.
Sure, absolutely. Estelle and Gustoff, Gustoff. On Amazon. You can get the paperback for $12. You can get the ebook for $8. But if you get the paperback and then you decide to get the ebook's only $3. So you can get ebook and paperback for $15 total. You can find In His Shadow Growing Up with Reggie White on Amazon. But like I said, I'd prefer you to email me at estelleandgustoff@gmail.com. Let me know your address. We can talk about forms of payment, how to get PayPal.
You might even autograph it for me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the thing. I wish I had more copies of Estelle and Gustoff, but it's just so much easier just to order it on Amazon. Just do it. But, if you send, I'll tell you the address to send it with the return stamp. I'm not paying for Sarah White raised me. She clipped coupons. I'm not paying for your return stamp. I'm sorry. But, and then Lift Tutoring, LIFT on YouTube. If you search Lift Tutoring Jeremy White, I'd appreciate a subscription for that. We're trying to get enough passive income to end up bringing it full circle, to end up doing what I'm doing without monetarily worrying about it. Because there's a ton of kids who need the passionate educators, and people wonder why there's not more passionate teachers. We're there. We're just burnt.
And kids are watching YouTube.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the people unboxing toys and how many millions of views they have on
Fortnite views.
It's a guy who makes $100,000 a month on Twitch just playing Fortnite.
Yeah.
I mean, more power to him.
There you go. So we play a game that we call 10 in 1, where I'm going to ask you 10 questions and see if you can get in under a minute.
Okay.
All right.
Here we go.
So I know this will be a stretch.
Yeah, because you've heard Jeremy White talk. Gift of gab, and he never shuts up. Don't say shut up. I'm 32, Dad.
All right. So here we go. And so the clock will start. Mojo, you'll get it ready, and it'll start after I get done with a question. As a kindergartner teacher, per week, how many juice boxes?
Ooh, 50.
Favorite video game ever?
Final Fantasy VII.
Biscuits or cornbread?
Biscuits.
As a kid, what was your favorite cartoon?
X-Men.
Cheesehead or Cheese Whiz?
Cheese Whiz.
Most impactful scripture?
Joshua 1:9.
Bald Eagles or Philadelphia Eagles?
Philadelphia Eagles.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you love the Cowboys?
10.
Who's your favorite wrestler?
Hulk Hogan.
Everybody has a spirit animal. What is your spirit food?
Ooh, macaroni and cheese.
Ooh, did he get it?
He did.
Hey.
Is Hulk Hogan's wife ugly?
You heard about the Ric Flair story?
The Ric Flair?
Oh my God. I never felt so embarrassed.
All right. Before we let it go, tell that story real quick.
Okay, real fast. Dad was wrestling Steve McMichael in Charlotte on May 11th. It was the day before my birthday. I was 11 years old. I'm sitting next to Ric Flair's son, ringside. I'm feeling like a star, even though we could only get those because of Ric Flair. So that morning, I'm at Ric Flair's son's house playing Turok, Dinosaur Hunter, Turok 64, and his mother, the boy's mother, comes downstairs. She doesn't have her makeup on yet. She says, we start talking very candidly. I don't know what's going on. I'm 11 years old. I don't tell a lie. And I somehow say, I'm sure that you'll look better when you get your makeup on. She agreed. So later that night, after the wrestling finished and my father lost, I'm going back, and she has had a few to drink, and she comes up to me and says, how do I look now? And I look at her, and I'm a very honest child who has been raised in the Christian faith, and I said, the same And she stops, and time stops, and then my dad takes me into the trailer, sits me down, long pause, felt like 50 minutes to an hour, and says, "Son, did you tell Ric Flair's wife she was ugly?" No, not like I need you to go back outside, and I need you to apologize. And I was like, went back outside. Hey, you look great. I think she had already forgotten because she was knee deep and waist. Sure. She was S-faced. So we're there with that. So that's the story.
Nice. All right.
Wow, I'm sweating.
Follow that up.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll get the meat sweats from chicken nuggets or just this room. Hey, Jeremy, thanks for coming in. We really appreciate you coming in. And
thanks for having me. I'm thankful you guys could hear me out for, how long has it been, about 5 hours?
We might have to have you come in for part 2.
Hey,
that'd be good.
Hey, please go check us out on southernfriedphilosophy.com. You can find us on the Facebook at Southern Fried Philosophy. Most importantly, where you find us on Apple, iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher. Subscribe, give us a like, give us a review, share your favorite episodes, send all your hate email to Biggin at SFP Radio.
Do it.
Something like that. Find us on the Instagrams and Twitters at SFP Radio. Where else can we find us?
That's about it.
All right. Fast forward, or go back to the beginning of the show. You can find us there, too.
Yeah, there you go. And as always, keep looking up.